Hi, good day. My name is Travia Douglas. You may have seen me over on Shady Doll's YouTube channel talking about my story. And I thought today that I would do a sit down form. I think sometimes when people see you smiling, they think that it takes away from what you've been through, and it isn't like that. Smiling is because you have overcame what you have been through. In March 18, 2007, I was in a vehicle accident. I don't know all of the details, as I have said before, because I'm not going to remember everything. I'm just going to give bits and pieces. I remember that day I was laying on the ground, and when I tried to move, I couldn't move. So I knew instantly something was wrong. And who were around that came to my assistance. And they too also told me not to move because they realized I couldn't. And so they called the ambulance, and so we waited until the ambulance came. And while waiting, they asked me, well, one lady in particular, I think her name was Lisa, asked me if there were anyone that I wanted to call. And I said, yes. So I gave her the number for my mom, and she called her. And when I spoke to her, I told her, meet me at the hospital. And I remember driving to in the ambulance. The pain was very, very excruciating. I was in so much pain. And when I got there, my family had already reached there, and so they all were there waiting for me while I arrived. I also remembered that they had to cut my clothes off, everything off. They couldn't take them off the normal way because they didn't want it to move me at that point. And then the doctor came, and he was there digging to see if I could have feel anything. And so when he asked me, I said no. And I went down to do some scan, and I guess from there they saw what were the injuries from the accident. And so I don't remember he told me in particular at the time, or it was my family, but I know it was said that I won't be able to walk. And so from that, we got recommendations, from other family, friends, to have me flown out. And so I had to get my documents from here, go over to Trinidad, so that the doctor over there could assess the injuries and if they would be able to approve for me to be flown over there. And so I flew out, and when I got there, I know they also did their scan as well for them to see for themselves what would be their best option if they needed to do anything. And so after they did their scan, I left to go up into my room, and then they came and they said they were going to do surgery, back surgery. And at that point, basically doing the back surgery was more so to see what mobility I would be able to regain. If the outcome would be I won't be able to walk, at least be able to do certain things for myself. And so I got there, that was like the Friday, March, I think the 29th. And so they were going to do the surgery the next week, which would have been the Tuesday. And I think over the weekend I developed a cold, so they were worried if I would be able to do the surgery. But they worked on me to get rid of the cold, and so I was able to get rid of the cold before I was able to do the surgery. So thank God. And I remember prepping, for surgery, things going through your mind, and so you're praying that everything will go well, because you're always here, and people going to study something, they don't make it out, and so you didn't want to be that one regardless. And so we prayed and everything, and I was taken down to the room where they were going to do the surgery. I remember they were taking my blood pressure, sugar, everything before they actually did the surgery to make sure everything was stabilized. The last thing I remembered was them taking my blood pressure and everything, and then nothing else after that. I was out of it. So I knew that that was done time for them to do whatever. And so I remember when I regained conscious, I was in so much pain. I never knew I felt that kind of pain. And so the doctor was like, I know. And then he put back on the brace on my neck. And then I remember coming out, I was looking for my mom because I knew that she would have been out in the halls waiting and, being worried, because when I looked up at the clock, I saw it was 7 o'clock. Couldn't believe that I was in there for so long, from since about after 2, 3. And so when I saw her, I was relieved I saw her, and then I just went straight to the room because I was so tired and I was in so much pain. And I just went straight to sleep that night. When I woke up in the morning, I didn't even want it to move again because the pain was too much. And so that's basically what I was doing after having the surgery, was just like wanting not to do anything because I was tired and was in so much pain. And so as the days went by, the doctors came and do the checks to see if I was going to be able to start moving around, because at that point you want to be able to have the blood start circulating. And so they had me started to sit up. I remember the first time when I started to sit up that I wanted to just lay back down because everything was so busy. The whole room was spinning. It's like I was seeing double even when I was watching everybody, and so I was so nauseated that I just went back down. And it was like that for maybe like a few days, because you've been laying down for so long, and now your body wanted to come in a different position. Now you're gonna feel all of that. And so I remember also they were having me sit on the edge of the bed. The nurses had me sitting on the edge of the bed, and that was also to help circulating. But when you don't have any balance, anything that anyone was saying, you won't trust in any words, because you're telling me yes, it's okay, but then I'm feeling something else different, and I know they meant well. And at that point, I just wanted also to lay back down because it wasn't a good feeling either. The pain was there, and then you're not able to balance yourself well either. So that was to really get into doing therapy in order to strengthen, going into a chair just to kind of also help to strengthen my back. I remember the first time I was actually able to sit in the chair, I wanted to actually go back in my bed. And I remember when the orderlies then put me back into the bed, I went straight to sleep just to knock out the pain, just to even feel not at the moment. And I just had to do therapy every day, every single day, just in order to get back to some sort of strength, because my hands had no grip at all. I couldn't feed myself the way I wanted to, and so I had to do all that in order to do the basic things for myself. I remember when I was eating and putting the food right here, sometimes it would drop right back down because there was no grip, and the muscles and was so weak in order to get back full function in my hands at that point in time. Drinking out a glass with the straw because I couldn't hold it. Even brushing my teeth at some point. And so doing those exercises is what would have helped me gain back some mobility. So I knew I had to do it in spite of how I felt. And, being inside for so long, I lost a lot of my color, and so they wanted for me to go outside to get some sunlight. And I remember being on the outside for the first time. It felt so good, like freedom, because in the hospital, and you're just seeing the four corners, there's so much TV that you can watch and everything. So, and I must say my time there, I enjoyed very much, even though I was homesick. I felt like I was home in a sense because everyone was so kind when we were going into the vehicle. This was my first time actually being back in front of a vehicle. And so I knew I was still traumatized to panic, and I just wanted to run back out of the vehicle. And so my brother had to calm me down in order for me to stay within the vehicle, and we were able to drive home. And I remember looking around like, is this same case? Because everything had looked so strange, so different in that short time. On my way home, even when I reached in my neighborhood, everything had looked so strange. But I was just happy to be home at the time. So excited. All again, more neighbors was here to welcome me, friends. So we just stayed the night, just catching up on life and everything, and laughing and joking around like nothing ever happened. But I appreciated everyone for all the love and comfort that they gave, even my mom, who were there for me during my trying time. She was there every step of the way, and so I know that she would do it all over again if she had to, because that's what mothers do. And so this is just a short version of my story, and you will see more of me on this channel